All right, everyone, go ahead and check in, please. Hey, Jose, how are you? All right, we got 9 attendees so far. Cameras on, make sure you check in, please. All right, the chapter for this session is going to be the math chapter. All right, Stephanie, I still have you not checked in. Come on. Hmm? Oh, sorry. Aren't you home? Put it to charge. All this time. All right, all right, all right. I checked you in already. Fine. But yes, you could have gone to goeasy.me and just put this code. You would have done the same thing. Yes. Jose, I might register for the evening class starting on Monday. Okay. All right, cool. I gave you my number, I think. Just reach out to me on WhatsApp and we'll talk about it, okay? All right, so I shared with all of you I don't know if you guys noticed on the Zoom chat, I share with you the questions we're going to go over, and I share with you a math cheat sheet. So this is what the cheat sheet looks like. Make sure everybody has access to this. If you're on YouTube, you want to take a screenshot, you can. I'm also going to try to give you a link to download, okay? Gilbert said it's blurry. The image is blurry, guys? Is it blurry? Yes, no, maybe. I'm going to zoom in still. But... better? Yeah, I wasn't zoom in. I just wanted to make sure you guys got this. I did share with you guys in the Zoom chat. Okay. All right, so I just close. All right, I closed the YouTube chat by mistake. Give me just one quick second. All right, we're back. So Jose, just like I told you, just send me a message on WhatsApp and I'll talk to you about that, okay? All right, so where was I? Cheat sheet. So the reason why you have this cheat sheet, or I prepared this cheat sheet for you guys, is because we're going to go over some of these numbers, obviously, and these tools that will help you pretty much figure out, as it says here, when to multiply or when to divide. All right. Sorry, you gave Jose. I gave your number to a friend of mine and you didn't answer. If they called me, probably not. WhatsApp. Text me on WhatsApp. Okay. Text. If I'm in meetings or if I'm teaching, I don't answer the phone. So WhatsApp and send as many times as you have to. All right, so like I said, these tools that I prepared here are going to help you figure out when to multiply, when to divide. The only thing that you need to figure out next is what the question is asking. And that's why I don't want to go through the math chapter. I want to go straight to questions, right? And try to figure out the questions with you, right? Which is something similar to what we're going to do tomorrow, right? So I'll explain the cheat sheet as we go. Right now, the first thing is, right? It says right here, convert the following decimals to percentages. We're going to figure out how to convert decimals to percentages. You guys ready? All right. Who knows how to dance? Raise your hand. Mariah is like, yeah, and Sebastian is like, very slow dance? Yeah. All right, so who knows how to dance bachata? Anybody? Oh, now you raise your hand like, I got this. All right, cool. All right, so bachata, the very basic steps are very easy. It's 2 to the left, 2 to the right. Simple as that. That's where you start. Oh, don't forget the hop. Okay, there's a little hop at the end. So here's what I want you guys to remember. Make it very simple. Okay, Gilbert. Okay. All right. I know there's advanced steps to it, but literally it's just you start off with 2 to the left and then 2 to the right, or vice versa, whatever you prefer. So if you want to figure out how to convert decimals to percentage or percentage to decimals, that's all you got to do is dance the bachata. Here you go. Ready? 1, 2. And that's it. You move 2 steps to the right, and we got 265%. Simple as that. Let me clear this out so you see it better. 1, 2. You moved 2 to the right. Okay? The next one. 0.294 decimal. How much is this in percentage? You move 2 to the right. What do we have? 29.4. Okay? Because this is always based on what I'm going to show you guys right now. This is always based on 100. Because 100 equals 1 whole unit. And that's what we have here, right? So 100, right? So 100%. And if you see right underneath, 29. So this can only be 29%, right? And this is where I'm going to bring you back to the cheat sheet. And it says that 100% equals 1. 1 what? 1 whole unit. So if I put a circle here, right, this represents 100%, a whole pie. Let's think about pizza right now for those of you that might be hungry. It's a whole pie, right? 100%. You take a slice off that pie, let's say 6%, how much is left? 94, right? 94% is how much is left after you take your 6% commission as an example. 94% is left. So everything is based on a whole. You have 100% is the whole pie. You take slices out. You're taking percentages or parts of the pie. So in this case, if we have 50%, it's 0.5. If we have 150% is one pie plus half of another pie. And it's one whole pie and a half. So 1.5, right? So going back here, I want you guys to now do on your own. How much is this in percentage? Jose, send me a message on WhatsApp with that person's number and I'll address it, okay? All right, I got a 5. I don't know what 5 is, Gilbert, and I got a 0.5%. Okay. Anybody else? Come on, guys, learn how to dance. 2 steps. That's where we start. We are right here at this dot. 1, 2. What do we have? If this is based on 100, what do we have? 0.5%. 0.5%. Okay? Another thing you can think of, I'm going to give you a bunch of ways to go to the same result. Another thing you can think of is this is always percent means per 100, right? So one of the things you can do also is take the 0.005 and multiply by 100. Put that on your calculator. What's the result if you put it on your calculator? Your phone is dead too? All right. You have calculators there if you want. Inside there. If you want, skip and jump. Gilbert said 5%. That's not 5%, man. Put it on your calculator. 0.005. There's no way it could ever be 5%. Because again, this is based on 100s. Okay? Based on 100s, right there, 100, right? This is the 1, 0, 0, and that's beyond 100. So this is 0.5. If you put on your calculator 0.005 times 100, it will say the same, 0.5%. And don't forget to include this. Don't answer just 0.5. Okay? Because then your whole calculation after that could be wrong because you forgot to hit the percent key if needed, depending on what we're trying to get to. All right? Now, how about the reverse? We have percentages, right? We have percentages and we're going to convert to decimals. And before we go anywhere, I want you to understand the importance of this. Why do we need to know decimals to percentage or percentage to decimals if the calculator does everything? Wrong. Because the calculator never gives you the answer in percentage. Also gives you the answer in decimals. So if they're asking you, what is the percentage? The calculator gave you 2.65. You need to know that that's 265%. You need to always convert it. Calculator will not do it for you. Calculator will always give you answers in percentages. So to go from in decimals. To go from decimals to percentage, we go 2 to the right. Correct? Yes? All right. So now we have to go back. We go 2 to the left. Here's the dot. We're going to go 2 to the left. And there's nothing behind it, right? So that means 0. Point. We take off the percent sign, and 72% becomes 0.721. Okay? Those of you putting just 0.721, always put the 0 behind it. I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference when you're answering stuff. Okay? This way there's never confusion. All right, so that's easy. This was step number 2 of bachata, right? We went 2 to the left, now we go 2 to the right. Let's go one more. I mean, to the right and to the left. Let's go one more. What is this? 90.2 converted to decimals. We got 0.902. Stephanie got 0.903 somehow. Okay, got it, corrected. So again, dot 1, 2, and you put that hop right there. Boom, 0.902. Now, like I said, percent means cent means 100, so it's per hundreds, right? So in this case, what you can also do, guys, you can give it a try on your calculator. 5.79. In this case, we're going to divide by 100. What do we have? 5.79 divided by 100. What do we have? Before we multiplied, now we divide. Anybody? $0.0579. So different ways of doing it. Okay. Or because again it's percent. In this case, you have a percentage. The number stops here. So 100. Okay. If you don't have the percentage, right, the dot is right after the 1. If you have the percentage, then the dot is before the 0 right there in the hundreds. Okay, so then you fill in the blanks. You drop the 0 and another 0 here, 0.05. Another way of doing it. I'm going to give you again multiple ways to figure out the same thing. You figure out which one is best for you. Is it the bachata, 2 to the left and 2 to the right? Is it the divide or multiply by 100? Or putting the 100 on top of the number and figuring out what comes below. All right? All right, so I'm going to give you one more real quick. Well, 2 actually. $1.78, right? We want to convert this to percentage. What do we do? To the right. And that means what? This is how much? 1.78. Jose says the bachata is easier. There you go. So here's what we got, guys. We have one whole unit, so 100%, plus 78% of another unit. Okay, it's another way to do it. 100 plus 78. This means 178%. You choose your way. 1.78 is one whole unit plus 78 parts of another unit. Okay. Or 2 to the right, 178%. Or multiply by 100, 178%. Okay. You guys good? Percentage has never been easier, right? All right. Next. Now that we understand how to convert things, only because of a calculator, right? We know how to convert things. Now we're going to figure out what's the percentage of something. In this case, very simple numbers. What is 75% of 280? So 280 is the whole number. And we're trying to figure out the percentage part or percentage of it, right? So percentage of it, this is the whole number. And the question is, what is the part? Right? So what is part of the 280? That's the question. Now, for those of you that might have difficulty with this stuff, I'm going to introduce to you the steering wheel. The reason why I want to introduce this is because a lot of people do not know when to multiply or when to divide. Okay? That's usually the biggest struggle that people have, especially when it comes to percentages. When do I multiply or when do I divide? Right? So this tool right here has saved me over the years. When I started teaching real estate, I was teaching the way we learn in Portugal. We don't have a steering wheel, by the way. But I was teaching the way we learn in Portugal. And I quickly realized that here in the United States, math is different. I don't know if you guys ever felt that, but math is different. But it's not just from Portugal to here. If you go to India, they teach things different. If you go to China, they teach things different. You know, math is math, but everybody has different methods to get to the same thing. And then we get to the United States and they came up with Common Core. Yeah. So Common Core is like 471 steps to figure out the same thing you could have done with a blink of an eye. But if you give the correct answer, but you don't follow the 471 steps, the answer is incorrect right away. I found that out when I was teaching my brother math back in 1996. Yeah. Over the summer, we're doing some stuff, like the summer homework that he had, right? And I'm like, what is this? And he's like, oh, this is what I don't get it either, and this is so tough, and this and that. And I'm like, well, Kevin, my brother, right? Kevin, this is what you have to do. And I taught him how to do it my way. He's like, oh, that's so much simpler. I'm like, cool. If that works, that's the answer. So he starts school at the end of the summer, right? Then school comes again. He starts school and is using the method that I told him. I come back, because I was living in Portugal at the time. I come back for Christmas that year, and he's like, yeah, everything was wrong. What do you mean was wrong? Well, this is how we have to do it. And he starts showing me how to do it. I'm like, Kevin, you've got like so many steps to get to the same thing. Why is it wrong? They want us to do it this way, and it's this way or the highway. But the answer is the same. It's this way or the highway. So yes, he was getting the right answer. But they still rejected everything. They still rejected everything just because the steps were not the Common Core steps. The answer was the same. So then I realized that also with my kids. So not only teaching my brother, then teaching my kids. Same thing. I had to learn math all over again. Yeah. Several times. 4 kids later. Every single time I have to learn again and again and again. Joshua says, absolutely not. 1 + 1 = 2, regardless of how you arrived at. Tell that to the math teacher. That's what I'm saying. So, today, guys, again, I'm not going to teach you math. I'm going to give you a couple of the tools that I use, simplified, right? So you guys achieve the same result. If you want to do it your way, whatever you've learned, I really do not care. As long as you get to the end result, that's what I care. All right? Exactly the opposite of what happened in school with my brother or with my kids. To me, I don't care how you get there, as long as you don't cheat. I don't care how you get there. If the result is the same, you pick one and see which one's best for you. Okay? Brenda, teachers still do that. Nothing changed. I know. All right. So steering wheel. What is so important about the steering wheel as we see here? There's a P right here, a B, and an R. Right below it, this is what I did. P stands for part portion, or income. So anytime you were in a question, and that question talks about what is the part, right? Or portion, or something to that effect, right? That number always goes on top. You fill in the blanks. These are 3 blanks. You fill in the blanks, okay? If the question has the base, the value, or the whole in the question, like right now we have 280, right? 280 is the whole value, and we're trying to figure out what's 75% of it. Well, the base, or the B, goes right here. So this is 280. The next number we have is the percentage. So rate, percentage, or interest always go in R, which is at the bottom right. So we have 75%. Guys, we're trying to figure out what's 75% of the 280. Isn't that part of it? Right? So what we're trying to figure out is this number right here. All you got to remember when you fill in the blanks is that if there's 2 numbers at the bottom, we multiply. Try that on your calculator. 280 times, and even if you already gave me the answer, I know the answer is 210. Got it. But I want you guys to run these exercises with me. I'm going to show to you how the steering wheel is perfect in every single way. All right? I'm actually going to give you 2 more variables of this question. So part, always on top. Whole value, always, or the base. Jose, let me correct that. The big numbers never doesn't necessarily mean it's a big number, okay? But it's the whole value of what we're trying to find out. Always goes in the base of the question, or the base question, right? Bottom left. And at the bottom right is always rate, percentage, or interest. So calculators, 280 times 75%, or as you guys already know, 0.75. Bachata, right? Calculators. The answer is going to be 210. Because all you had to do was multiply these numbers. Now, what if the question was, let's clear this out real quick. What if the question was $210, right, is 70% of, right? $210 is 70% of, right? Or let's say it was a commission. The commission was $6,000 to your pocket, right? And commission rate was 6%. What was the sales price of the house, right? How would you put it here? Well, in this case, I said 210 is 70% of something, right? That means the whole value, the whole pie is what we're trying to figure out. That's right here. We got 2 numbers. We got 210, which is the part or portion. It's 75% of something. So 210 goes on top, right? And then the next number we have is the 75%, which goes in the bottom, right? Correct? Or 0.75. Here's what you have to remember. If there's a number on top, right? There's a number on top, and there's a number at the bottom, we divide always. And it's as simple as that. Calculators, 210. I know we know the result, but please humor me and do this on your own as well. 210 divided by 0.75. 210 divided by 0.75. What's the answer? $280. Right? Perfect. That means that the whole value is 280. Let's add a few numbers. Let's say the bank gave you 75% loan, right? So what's your loan amount? Your loan amount is 210. If the question was, your loan is 210,000, right? The LTV is 75. How much did the house sell for? In this case, the house sold for $280,000. Simple questions, Okay? All right. Now, we're going to take this out. And the question just changed. Ready? The purchase price of this home that John is buying is $280,000. The loan amount is $210,000. What is the LTV? Okay, LTV is a rate. It's a percentage. Where do percentages go? Always here. So where is the question mark? Right here. You guys understand? Filling in the blanks. 210,000 is the loan amount. It's a part or portion, so it goes on top. The whole value, the purchase price in this scenario, is 280. Guys, if there's a number on top and there's a number at the bottom, what do we do? What do we do? Divide it, correct. So go ahead, give it a try. 210,000 or just 210 divided by 280. What do we get? We get 0.75. Wait, your calculator did not say 75%? No? And this is why converting to percentages was so important to begin with. Okay? No problem, Brenda. But that's why this was so important. Because your calculator will always give you this. Different number, by the way. But always give you a decimal. So now we need to the right, add the percent sign, and it's 75%. Okay? So the loan amount is 75% of the purchase price. Guys, 3 variables of the question. They could be asking you for the whole value, the purchase price. They could be asking you for a portion, let's say the taxes or the loan amount, right? Or they could be talking about the commission that always goes on top. Anything that has a percentage or an interest or a rate always goes on the bottom right. If you master filling in the blanks here, I can guarantee you 90% of the math questions will be answered just by putting the info here onto this form, and then from here putting on your calculator. And it's as simple as that. Guaranteed. I already told you the other day there's at least 2 questions that you don't even need a calculator. Right? And I just showed you how to answer all the other questions. Filling in the blanks. So now comes the question. How do we figure out what to fill in the blanks with? That's comprehension of the question. Just like all the other non-math questions, it's about you taking your time and reading the questions properly. All right? Can you take this to the test? No. But here's what you can do. It's called a cheat sheet for a reason. It's easier to memorize. So what you're going to have to do, what I recommend, Gilbert, is that you guys memorize this sheet right here. Try to memorize. It's the last thing you do before you go into the exam. And if you're in the physical location to take the exam, they give you a piece of paper. If you're doing it at home, or if you're doing here at the school, for instance, then a piece of paper, you can bring a piece of paper with you. Blank, you have to show it to them that it's blank. But once you start, the first thing you do before you even touch the computer, the first thing you do is to write down as much as you can remember from here. Right? And then the last thing you do is the math questions. Because it doesn't matter how good you are. Doesn't matter how good you are. No, Sebastian. Doesn't matter how good you are in math. It's time consuming. All right? So, first thing you do, write down as much as you can remember. Last thing you do in the exam is the math questions. So you can mark them and leave them to the end. Skip every single math question, please. It could be simple and you're looking at, oh, I got this. No, no, no. Because it takes time. Mark it, leave it to the end. In fact, guys, the best trick or tip that I can give you to pass on any exam is to skip anything that's taking too long. If it's taking too long to read, go to the next one. If it's taking too long to answer, go to the next one. If it's taking too long for you to figure out what's going on in that question, go to the next one. Simple. And I'll guarantee you that if you do this, 80% of the exam is going to be answered in your first hour, and then you got 3 hours to figure out the hard ones. Okay? So skip, 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 and then once you're done with answering the easy ones, you go back to answer the hard ones. Simple as that. All right? So, going back to questions. Nalini says that's exactly what I did. Yep, there you go. Stephanie says, I don't know if this is a dumb question, but are they multiple choice? So, as I usually say, dumb questions or stupid questions are the ones that are never asked. Okay? But in this case, no, I'm just kidding. No, it's not a dumb question. They're all multiple choice. You got 4 potential answers per question. Okay? Which is easy. You can eliminate 2, and you got 2 usually that are very similar, right? And if you did not read it right, that's what the problem will be. But 2 very similar answers. Jose, yeah, that's what happened to me with the math. Literally took me 1 hour to get 72 rights. I'm telling you, skip, skip, skip. That's it. If you skip 80 questions, right, it's okay. It's okay. You got 30 down. And then you go back to the other ones. If you skip another 20, it's okay. Now you got 60 down. And then you're focused on the ones that are really tough. And by the way, another thing I want to say is sometimes question number 2 might be the answer to question number 81. Because they usually put questions that are very similar to each other. Depending on the subject that's being tested, right, or heavily tested, there'll be 2 or 3 similar questions or answers. So sometimes I'm on question 81, I'm like, wait, I already had a question like this before. But this one now it's clearer to understand. Now I got it. Go back and you change that answer if you had it wrong. I don't like people changing answers at all. But sometimes when you get to the one question that's clearer to understand, right, it unravels all the other questions that you're stuck on. Simple. All right. Going back to this, we're going to skip area and we're going to come back in a second. I want to go to problem number 6. Right? Dahlia, unfortunately, I did not pass the state exam. Not enough time on the math. All right. Well, Dahlia, we're going to have, besides what we're doing right now, which is not going to be too much, tomorrow we're going to have test prep. So we're going to go over as many questions as possible, random questions, and I'm going to, again, give you all the tips needed to pass the exam. Okay? Knowledge is knowledge, but having the knowledge and not knowing how to navigate through the exam, it's going to be a waste of time. Okay? So I'm going to try to speed it up for you. All right, problem number 6 right here. Problem number 6. And by the way, if you have the book that we're using, it's all the way at the end of the book on page. Yeah, it should be those. It's on page what? 531. So I don't have it in the exact order that's there, by the way. Problem 6 could be problem 15 there. But the questions are the same. All right, so this question here says, a property is co-brokered by listing broker Schroeder and the selling broker Hobson for $425,000. What does this mean? This is the sales price. Guys, I do this with every single question. As I'm reading, I start taking information out, start breaking it down. Property sold for $425,000. There's 2 agencies involved. The co-brokerage split is 50-50. That means my agency, not my agents, my agency gets 50, your agency gets 50% of the commission. Okay? Schroeder's agent is on a 65% split schedule. Okay, let me zoom in so you guys see it. Schroeder's agent, so the listing broker's agent, right? And this would be important if it's a listing broker or not, if the question said the split was 60-40 between the brokers, okay? In this case, it's 50-50. It's easy. Just move right through. Schroeder's agent, Joaquin, right, is on a 65% split. That means he gets 65 and the broker gets the difference, okay? Hobson's selling agent, representing the buyer, right, Wallace, is on a 50-50 with her broker. The commission rate, total commission rate or gross commission rate, is 7%. What are the participants' commissions? All right. In the state exam, so you guys know, school or state exam, they're not going to ask you for all the commissions. They will give you all this information. Easy, Marlon. Easy, easy, easy. Step by step. We're getting there. In the state exam, what they'll ask you, so let me break it down for you as well. They ask you either how much is Joaquin making, how much is Joaquin's broker making, how much is Wallace making, or, so it's not all of them, it's one or the other or the other or the other. Okay? So they give you a bunch of info, and then how much is Joaquin making? And then you have to break it down and figure out how much he is making, okay? So we know that Joaquin is making 65%. We know that Hobson is making 50, right? 50, and here is 35%. Correct? Is this what we know from the question? Okay, break it down, guys. Very, very important. Break it down. So, how much did the property sell for? $425,000. What was the commission? That's the first thing we got to figure out. What was the commission? The total commission. Let me open up right now. 7%. I know. But the question is, what is the total commission? Okay. Really? I have to sign in right now. Sorry, guys. Is this the correct password? All right. So, what do we got? $425,000 sales price. And the commission, 7% commission rate, right? And then we got 65%. Actually, I'm going to go step by step. So we're going to stay right here. This is the first thing we need to figure out is what is the gross commission. So now we're going to go here. And guys, what numbers are we going to put here? We're trying to figure out how much is the commission, right? Where would that go? Where would the question mark go? That's the first thing I want to ask you. Where would the question mark go? We have the sales price and we have commission rate. Where would the question mark go? Is it going to be E, B, or R? Where's the question mark go? Correct. Question mark is in the part or portion, because you're going to take a portion. You're going to take 7% out of it. Bless you. You're going to take 7% out of it, right? Now, what info do we have? We have 425,000. Where does that go? Is it going to go under B or R? B, correct. So $425,000 right there. And then the commission rate is 7%. There's only one left to fill in. 7% or bachata 0.07. Right? Guys, if we have two numbers at the bottom, what do we do? Two numbers at the bottom, what do we do? Multiply it. Perfect. So calculators, go ahead. What is 7% of 425,000? So 425 times 7%. And the answer is 29,750. This, guys, is the gross commission. Right? That's the total that got paid out in the sale. On the sale, I'm sorry, right? 29,000. Are you guys with me so far? Any questions? Stop me whenever you need to stop me, okay? We got time. I'm going to go to the most tested questions anyway. So we got time. Stop me at any time. So this is the gross commission. Our question is to figure out how much Joaquin made, the 65%, let's say. Right? Joaquin made 65% of what? Of the gross commission. Right? So now think of it as a part 2 to the question. 29,750 is the gross commission, right? Joaquin is on 65%. How much did Joaquin take? Joaquin is not the broker. Thank you. Stop right there, guys. Joaquin is not the broker. What are we missing? See what happens when you don't read? And Sebastian fell right for it. I'm going to trick you as much as I can, guys, because the state exam and the school exam are meant to trick you, unfortunately. Which step did we miss? Thank you. The 50-50, guys. The 50-50 broker split. Sebastian, isn't that what got you into trouble last time? Okay. So this was step number 1. Figuring out the gross commission. We got it. Step number 2, figure out how much each brokerage got. So let's go here. This was 1. Step number 2. Being too quick always got you into trouble. Yep. Step number 2. What is the commission split? 50%. Now, let's see if you guys got it. Marlon, yes, that's the correct answer. But let's see if you guys got it. What do I put on B and what do I put on P? What are we asking right now? Okay. What is missing? Where does the question mark go? Where does the question mark go? Yep, right there. And what goes here at the bottom and under B? What goes there at the bottom? Brenda, are you okay? You got your head like, what is going on? At the bottom goes 29,750. Exactly. Because here in the first process, this was the part of the whole sale, right? But now it's the base or the value of commissions, right? If two numbers are at the bottom, what do we do? Multiply. So the answer is 14,875. And this is the broker's split. Okay? That was step number 2. Can we now get finally to Joaquin and figure out how much he made? Now we can. Brenda's like, so is my mom, with trying to figure out what's going on. Step number 3. Marlon's way ahead of the game. I know. All right. So now we got 14,875 is the broker's split. $65% for Joaquin. Right? Guess what we're gonna do? Same thing. Get familiar with the steering wheel. It's gonna help you. So who's gonna give me the numbers and where do I need to put them? 14 something in the top? Why at the top? Andrea Dre says 65% are correct, and weeping as well. What else we got? At the top, you sure? P is the question mark.
No, I'm not sure.
Right now the concept has been the same all across. Right? This one became this one. This one becomes this one. Because we're taking part of the part of the part. We had the wholesale price, right? And we took a portion. That portion, we now try to figure out what is a portion of that. The broker's split. And we put it under the whole value, right? And now we're taking another portion, which is how much you're going to get paid. You're going to get paid 65% of this. So, numbers at the bottom. What do we do? Multiply. Marlon, I know you had the answer there already, but how much did Joaquin make? $14,875 times 0.65 or times 65%, either way. 9,668.75. This is Joaquin's commission. Not a bad payday for only $400 and something thousand, right? Right. Okay, so this question, they gave so much info, right? In this question, we needed to go through these 3 steps. Figure out what was the total commission, figure out how much my broker got, and then figure out how much I get paid based on my split. And that's why we had 3 steps here. But steering wheel did it all. Knowing how to put it there is key. Okay, if you have another way to do it your way. It's fine. I'm just trying to, again, simplify things to help people realize when to multiply or when to divide. What's your question? Take a picture? It's recorded. All right, any questions? Brenda, did you understand or let me know if you're good, if you're lost. Anybody? Any questions? I had shared here. I'll share it again. Any questions, YouTubers? Do you have any questions or are you good so far? Again, it's a matter of breaking down the question. What was being asked, right? Joaquin's commission. If they ask what was the broker's commission, then we needed to figure out what was 35% of this. That's how much he got. Okay? Marlon. 5,206. That's how much the broker got. Thank you. Brenda, looks like you had a headache. Tell me, what's the question? What is the question? What is the issue? Guys, if you have questions, now is the time. I'm telling you. We have 1 hour to go over the math. Brenda says, no, it's just a vaccine. Okay. The math made it worse. So, again, if you have questions, ask. I'm with you, by the way. I don't like math either. I just like knowing how to do the math to figure out how much I'm going to get paid. In this case, it's a math that you're going to do all the time. Property was sold. Great. How much do I get? Right? So you need to know how to do this one. How much do you get? You need to figure out what is the 7% of 425,000, right? And that tells you the gross commission. You need to know how much you're getting. Usually what it says is like we get 2%, or our broker gets 2% or 2.5% or 3% of this, right? So let's say it's 2%, right? It would give you, as an example, 14,875. Now, Brenda, that's how much your broker gets. If you're on the 65 split with your broker, how much do you get? In this case, we figure out that you get $9,000, almost $10,000, right? Don't you think it's important for you guys to figure out how much you're going to get paid? Huh? It is important, yeah. All right. Let's go to the next one. Right here. Hypothetically speaking. All right, Josh. If someone has taken all the chapter quizzes multiple times and now scored 100% on all of them, is that enough to be prepared for the exam? Are you talking about Ron? Oh, no. Sorry, I had to mess with you. Should be. I mean, if you're doing good at it. I don't know. I don't know if you're. Are you doing open book or are you just giving it a try and then see? Okay, so closed book. Great. So yeah, you should be good. Still do the practice exam that I have online. Do it to be ready for the actual exam, because the quizzes are one thing, like this, it's one thing. Doing the actual exam is another. Right? All right. So guys, right here, problem number 8. A seller receives an offer of $674,000. So this is offer. It's not the acceptance. The property was listed at $749,000. What I want to know is what is the percentage, how much is the offer as a percent of the listing price? What is the percentage of the listing price? So these are the two numbers we're working with. All right, I'm going to do the steering wheel right here. We want to know what is the percentage. So where do the question marks go? R, correct. Boom. Now we got 2 blanks to fill. That's how easy this is, guys. The steering wheel, it's this easy. 2 blanks to fill. Where does the 674 go? And where does the 749 go? Jose says they trick you no matter how prepared you are. 674, correct. And the 749 right here at the bottom. Great. If a number is on top and the number is at the bottom, what do? Divide them. See how easy it is? So go ahead. Give it a try. 674,000 divided by 749,000. What is the percentage here? Come on, Marlon. I thought you had the answer already. $89.9. Yep. In this case, I'm going to round it up real quick. 90%. Okay, that would be the answer in the exam, unfortunately. But 90%. That's it. You got it? Was it that hard? I don't know. I'm pointing at this TV where this is. She's looking at the TV on this side. Was it that hard?
Yeah.
Why are you lost? Ask questions.
How did you find out this 90%?
Well, your calculator is going to give you 0.8997, something like that, right? Right? That's the calculator. I just rounded it up. So you do the bachata, it's 89.9. So I just rounded it up to 90%.
Okay. The bachata got me lost.
The bachata got you lost?
Yeah. Because the teacher, the lady, she said that redonda para cima. Então,
Well, that's what I did.
Mas o bachata, você botou só 90, ok? Pronto lá, eu fiquei perdida. Agora entendi.
Okay. Sebastian, okay, technical, 89.9866. Always, in that case, round up to 2 decimals. Okay, so 90%. I'm taking a 10% cut if I accept this offer. Okay? Got it? Good? Thumbs up? Awesome. All right, let's see what else. Okay, this is a good question. Problem number 10. A tenant's rent is currently, by the way, a lot of people are going to fail on this one because of the trick that's in it. A tenant's rent is currently $650 a month. My rent this month is $650, and for the whole year is $650. This rent is scheduled, okay, so sorry, $650 per month is what I need. This rent is scheduled to increase 5% per year. It goes up 5% per year. What will the tenant's rent be at the beginning of the 3rd year from now? So it's $650 on year 1. Okay, actually, let me just reverse this. So do it right. Year 1, $650 a month. Year 2, and we want to know how much the rent's going to be on year 3. I'm going to let you guys do that one. Give me the answer for year 3. It's $650 a month, increases 5% per year. What is the rent on the 3rd year? All right, the 6 people watching on YouTube, you can answer. What is the rent on the 3rd year? Stephanie says, are you in Europe? The dollar sign comes first. $716, okay. Okay, so give me an answer.
I don't know how to do it.
You don't know how to do it? It's so simple.
You cannot jump to the third year. That's I know.
You cannot jump to what? To the third year? You can't jump to the third year. No, you can't. That's what Sebastian just did.
He did.
Marlon is putting the increase versus the actual value. Thank you. All right. So it goes up 5% per year. That means that year number 2 is 650 plus 5%. How much is that? 650 plus 5%. This you can do in your calculator as easy as that. No need for anything else. If it's an increase, you just put on your calculator plus 5%. If it's a decrease, you just put on your calculator minus 5%. All right, so this is 682.50. That's year number 2. Year number 3, it's 682.50 plus 5%. Do it again, 682.50 plus 5%. 716.63. How much is the rent on year number 3? 716.63. Okay, guys, if it says increase per year, then every year is plus 5% of the previous year. So if we started off at 650 plus 5%, it is now 682.50, right? The following year, it goes up 5% again. Of what? Of the original 650? No, of the previous year. So again, we put 682.50 plus the 5%. Okay? And in your calculator, all you have to do, on your calculator, all you have to do is add. It's as simple as that. Plus 5%. Just do that on your calculator. Hit the plus sign, hit the 5, and hit the percent. Sebastian, so where's the trick? What trick? Eleni was on year number 4 already. Good. You hit the equal? Okay. Well, it does try to trick you, but what was the answer you gave me, Sebastian, originally? You gave me the second year answer. Some people gave me the 5%, right? Like times 2, right? Something like that, 10% on top of it. The thing is that you don't read that it's a per year increase, as I pointed out right away, right? So notice what I do, guys. As I'm reading, I'm already trying to give you the hints of what's needed. It's per year increase, every year plus 5%. And then they're asking, how much is it on the third year? So I break it down this way. That's what you should do when you're reading the questions. If you don't read it right, what you're going to do, well, if it's 5% a year, then it's 10% increase. It's not 10% increase, right? It's 5%, like I said right here, year 2, it's the previous year plus 5. Year 3 is the previous year plus 5. That gives you the answer, right? Eleni is going to live there forever. She was already on year 4. All right, let's see. 48 minutes left. I way overthought and I fell into the trap trying to avoid. Yep. Sorry, man. I try. But sometimes, I know, we overthink things as well. All right, let's see what we got. Questions. All right. Typical question right here. Problem number 14. A lender requires $90,000 down payment on the $400. So this is down payment, and this is the purchase price, $400,000. The question is, what's the LTV? $90,000 is how much you have to put down. $400,000 is how much the property sold for. So if we were to put in the steering wheel, Jose, no problem. Gilbert says 90K goes in part. Very good. $90K right here, right? Because it's a part or a portion of the whole thing, right? $400K is the purchase, the whole thing. You're trying to figure out LTV. LTV is a ratio, therefore it's a percentage. Where do percentages go? Right here. That's the question. So if we have a number on top and we have a number at the bottom, guys, what do? Divide it. Nelda wrote, I was multiplying 5%. All right, let's go back real quick. Just one thing I want to point out. So, Nelda, yes, you could have multiplied by 5%. I just gave you the shortcut on your calculator. If you multiply it by 5%, it's also correct. So 650 times 5%, I think Marlon gave me the answer before. 3250. So this equals 3250, right? But that's what the 5% is. What is the new rent? The new rent is the 650 plus 3250. So that's the 682.50 that we have here, right? If you see right there, I just eliminated a few steps by giving you the plus 5% on your calculator, right? So if you want to do it this way, times 5%, just remember you need to add on to it to give you the result. No, that's the only thing. So again, guys, there's different ways to get to the same result. I just, like, if I can give you a shortcut to it, if it's an increase, it's plus 5. If it's a decrease, it's minus 5. Your calculator does the rest. Okay? Yes, they'll give you a basic calculator, or allow, if you're doing online, yeah, a basic calculator like that. Or if you do it online, they allow you to use the program calculator. So for you to do online, they have you download the program. Then they allow you to use that program's calculator to run these. All right. Oh, Nelda, real quick. So the following year, you needed to do the same thing. So it's the same steps we did here. So now it's 682.50 times 5%, right? And that equals 34.1, right? 34.10 right there. And then it will be 682.50 plus 34.10, 716.60. Free, probably. Whatever the answer was. I don't know what happened here. Or that's not the answer. Something is missing in one of you guys' calculations. But you have to do for every single year. Mariah, I think it's like when you're shopping and they say it's 20% off and an additional 10% off. Yeah, so 20% off something. Then you take 10% of that other something. Yep. All right, so where were we? Right here. Jose, just remember, again, increase is plus the percentage, decrease is minus that percentage. Again, if you guys think about that, increases and decreases, or you just have to hit the plus or minus sign, you'll get it done real quick. All right, so here, what do we have? 90,000 divided by 400,000. What was the answer for this LTV? What was the loan to value? 2250. So the borrower needed to come up with 22%, right? Is that right? No. What is 2250? Is that right? Is it wrong? Some people are like shaking their heads. What is wrong here? Why were you shaking your head? Sebastian is like, what? Remember, this is the down payment percentage. We want to know the LTV, so that's the loan amount. LTV is 77.5. $90,000 is 22.5% of 400,000. The difference between them, the difference between LTV and down payment is the purchase price. The difference between purchase price and down payment is LTV. The difference between purchase price and LTV is down payment. These are interchangeable. It's always based on 100% value, purchase price or value, right? And then the difference is either the down payment or the LTV. So, a couple of ways you could have done this. You figure out what percentage is the down payment, and then it's 100% minus the down payment. Or, what you could have done before you put the information here, what you could have done is 400,000 minus 90,000. How much is the loan, right? So the loan is 310,000 loan. And instead of 90,000, you would have put the 310 here. The answer would have been 77.5. Okay, so again, different ways to do it. You choose which one you want. If the number was a little bit more complicated, so that's why I prefer to do it this way, and then 100% minus that. The number was a little bit more complicated. Instead of 400,000, if it was like 431 with $76, right? Now it becomes a little bit more complicated to do out of the top of your head, the math, right? But if you narrow it down to the percentages, it's 100%, 100 minus the down payment is LTV. If they gave you the LTV and they want to figure out the down payment, then it would have been 100% minus LTV equals down payment. Any questions here? Questions? Once? Twice? Sebastian, you're good? Because for a moment you were like, oh, what's going on? Yeah. You got it? What did you miss? Come. Talk to me. Ask questions, guys. We got 39 minutes to go through math. What is the question? This doesn't match? Okay. So let's say you put 310. Isn't that the loan amount? Okay, do the calculator, put it on a calculator. 310 divided by 400,000. How much did you get? So the numbers don't match? I'm just saying it's two different ways. You could either go straight for the percentage and just remember that down payment is the difference between the purchase, right? and the loan. So whatever the balance is the loan amount, right? Or because they gave you the numbers, right? Instead of percentages, they give you the numbers. You could have figured out how much is the loan amount. It's 310. So again, you can either put in the steering wheel, you either put the down payment, figure out what the down payment percentage is, or put the loan amount and figure out what is the LTV right there. You choose which one works for you. That's pretty much what I'm putting here. Right? It is, right? Both of them will. You have to do a minus somewhere, either at the percentages side or at the amounts side. But either one, you have to minus somewhere. Jose, so how do I figure out when to get the LTV and when to find the other one? Well, LTV, Jose, is always the loan to value. In this case, they didn't give you the loan amount. They gave you the down payment, right? So the only thing missing is the loan amount. That's what's missing here out of the question. So when you go to the steering wheel, there's 3 elements. If one is missing, that's the one we're trying to figure out, right? So what is the LTV? You got to figure out how much the loan amount is. Or figure out what the percentage is, and the difference is the loan. So how to figure out when to use one or the other depends on what they gave you. If they told you, so if they told you here, let's say 310 as a loan, right? Then you'd be missing the down payment. Okay, you got to remember, you have 100% value, right? If they give you the loan, the difference is the down payment. If they give you the down payment, the difference is the loan. It depends on what they give you. Good? All right. So I think we're good with percentages. Let me just see if they have. All right, so let's go to area. So all the way up top, we got calculate the areas of the following shapes. So before we get there, hold on. Okay, so they gave you the loan, the purchase price. Okay, so I have to get the missing one, which is the LTV. They gave you the down payment in this question. But yes, the missing one is the LTV. All right, so let's go to area. You go back to the cheat sheets that I presented, right? This is a rectangle. It could be a square. So square, rectangles, they're the same in terms of how we calculate the area. And the area for a rectangle, it's always width times length equals area. That's a standard formula. Now, just like the steering wheel, I adapted the concept because the steering wheel is based on percentages, right? And it's based on 3 elements. Area, when it comes to rectangles, right, and triangles, area is always based on 3 elements. So I thought it must be the same way. And I came up with this, right? So what you guys see here is we got a rectangle. And what I want you to remember, in the steering wheel, if the number is at the bottom, we multiply, right? In the area, if the numbers are outside the area, you multiply. Okay? If you have one number that's inside and one number outside, you divide. So for instance, if they tell you that this is a 20,000 square foot area, or a 20,000 square foot lot, that's one number inside. And then they tell you that the width of the property or the frontage of the property is 100 feet. How deep is the lot, or what's the length of the lot? That's where the question is. We have one number inside, we have a number outside. What do? Divide. And the answer is 200 feet deep. Okay, it's as simple as that. If they told you that the lot was 100 by 200, that by is always this, multiply. It's the numbers outside. So I recommend you always draw the area and fill in the spots, right? If the numbers are outside, we multiply. So 100 times 200 is 20,000. And the inside numbers is always square feet. Never, ever, ever acres or anything else. It's always in square feet. Okay, so if they give you, oh, it's a half an acre lot, you need to figure out how much 1 acre is and bring it back to square feet. Okay, so let's figure out how much an acre is. Still in the cheat sheet, 1 acre is 43,560 square feet. Okay? One way to remember, whatever works for you, 1 acre is one. I want you guys to think about acorn car. Acorn car. Right? And we have, guys, we have 4. Ready? 4 squirrels in an acorn car, right? And they're going down Route 35 to the beach. And they're going at 60 miles per hour. Just not to get caught by the cops, right? So 1 acre is 4 squirrels going down Route 35 at 60 miles an hour. Okay? 1 acre, 4 squirrels going down Route 35 at 60 miles an hour. Or 43,560. Liviana, are you okay? You don't like the squirrels? Chipmunks wouldn't sound right. You're about to give up on math? All right, now, sorry, I keep scratching my eyes, guys. It's allergy season. It's bothering me. So, 4 squirrels, Route 35, 60 miles an hour. I always talk about this story because it's so funny. My first year of teaching this, I was trying to figure out a way. I'm always learning with you guys, by the way. And sometimes you give me hints and I use it in the next class. This was actually taught to me by one of my students. She goes, raises her hand and goes like, hey, my daughter learned this in school. 4 squirrels, Route 35, 60 miles an hour. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And there's one guy, Alex, sitting in the front, goes like, that's so stupid. Just like that. And I'm like, hey, whatever works. As long as it sticks to your head, whatever works. Like my bad jokes, there's a reason. They're so bad that it's going to stick to your head. You're going to like, oh, that joke. Yep, I know it. All right. It's whatever sticks. Acronyms, whatever sticks. Right? Ron says, so bad, they're good. Yep. There you go. But guess what? Alex, when we got to the math chapter, and I asked everybody in the class, I had like 30-some people in the class, and I asked, how much is an acre? Alex was the first one to reply. 4 squirrels, Route 35, 60 miles an hour. I looked at him and I said, I thought you said it was stupid. Well, you know how people go like, that was him. Whatever works. Sebastian, imagine a client asking you, how many square feet in an acre, and just replying 4 squirrels down Route 35. Hey, whatever works. Maybe you teach something to that client. Maybe they'll be happy. Right? Teaches to the client. Oh, I'll never forget that. All right, so let's go back to the area. What if they tell you that it's half an acre, right? Go back here. What if they tell you that the area is half an acre? Because that is most likely how they put the questions. They'll put it's 2 acres or 2.5 acres or it's half an acre, something like that, right? So if it's half an acre, right? Half an acorn car, right? We cut it in half. We still have the same 4 squirrels. Remember that, right? You cannot cut the squirrels in half. But if it's half an acre, you guys got to remember, this has to be always in square feet. Always. Really, Josh? You missed something. They're going way faster here. Half an acre is 43,560. So 4 squirrels, Route 35, 60 miles an hour. You're going to divide by 2. This equals 21,780. So they're going 2 squirrels only, Route 17, and they're speeding because they dumped 2 of the squirrels before. They're on the wrong road and the cops are coming. No, this one doesn't work, because if they were to ask a quarter of an acre or 3/4 of an acre, now there's no acronym for this. You need to know the math. But for this one, or example, this one's easy. So now, guys, we got 21,780 square feet. And calculators, we're trying to figure out how wide is it. The 5 in the 25 trickles down to the 3 in the 30. Okay. Brenda wants me to go back to the squirrel for a second. Hold on, I'll get right there. You add the 5 to the 3, you get 8. Okay. You're complicating this way too much now. Oh my god. Anyway, so calculators real quick. We have 21,780. That's the area. Inside number, outside number. What do we do? Wait till we get to 1 squirrel. Oh my god. We're killing squirrels now. What do? We divide, right? Inside number divides by the outside number. So what is the width or the frontage of this lot? Yep, 108.9 feet. Okay, inside number divides by the outside number gives you the other outside number. Okay. Very good. All right, so Brenda, you want me to go back to the squirrel? So you're talking about this one? Don't listen to Josh right now or Sebastian, okay? You get way too confused right now. You guys are too funny. All right. You good? All right, so let's go practical example right now. Calculate the area of the following shape. What is the area of a rectangle that has a height of 4? By the way, every time you see height is width and the base is length. What is the area of a height of 4 and the base of 36? The first thing to do is draw. Okay. Height of 4, base of 36. The question is inside number. If we have outside numbers, what do? Multiply. So how much is 4 times 36? I was trusting you, Whipping. Really? So it's 144 what? Square feet. I'm like, I saw 72 there. I'm like, what? This is not a triangle. All right. That's it. 144 square feet. Questions? Pretty easy, right? What happened? You sure? Next. A square with a side of 16. What is the area? First thing we got to do is draw. If it's a square, then all sides are equal. We got 2 numbers outside. We need to figure out the inside number. Always figure out where question mark goes. Multiply. Outside numbers always multiply. The answer is, I'm going to trust you guys, right? Because I'm not calculating. $256 square feet because it's 16 times 16. Okay? It's a square. All sides are equal, supposedly. I don't know if Common Core teaches differently. Maybe we got to take the 10 first, and then we figure out the 6, and then we multiply those. I don't even know anymore. All right. What about this one? A trapezoid. So I told you guys, wait a minute. I told you guys about squares or rectangles. A trapezoid is an irregular shape, right? So let's figure out first, right? Because I'm gonna draw it real quick. Right? And sometimes we have lots that are like this. 5 and then 6 and 8. All right? So we got to figure out how to do another basic shape, which is a triangle. Because for you to figure out trapezoids, the first thing you got to do is always cut it into 2 known shapes. First one is the rectangle, which you know, but we didn't go after triangles yet. So back to the cheat sheet. Are you sure, Brendan? That was too quick. Too fast, too furious. All right. So triangle. I want to show you guys something. And if you are really good at math, and if you're really good at geometry and all that stuff, right? Sorry. We're not here to be architects. I'm just going to teach you the basic of the basic, because that's what we need as realtors. So some people, as I had in the past, might get offended with my method. But first thing I want you to do is always remember that a triangle, once you close the box, what's missing becomes a rectangle or a square. Okay, so got to close that box right there. Becomes a rectangle or square. So forget the triangle for a second, right? And in this case, they're saying that the area of a triangle is, the formula is height times base divided by 2. I told you I want you to always remember width times length. So whether it's height times base or width times length is the same, but I want you to remember one formula and then one simple trick I'm going to teach you in a second. So this is the width and this is the length. Okay? Now here's the other thing I'm going to show you. We're going to cut this in half. Right? And I want to ask you a question. Isn't this a mirror of this? Isn't this a mirror of this? Yeah. So technically, if it's a mirror, it's our half that's missing, right? It's a mirror. So we're going to cut this out. That's half. Cut this out. That's half. So pretty much what I'm trying to say, guys, is that a triangle is half of a square. Okay? Triangles, you're trying to teach more people, Stephanie? Like, hey, come see this. All right. So a triangle is half of the square. I'm going to show you again right here. Ready? I'm going to put two different types of triangles to prove this. And I'm going to prove the concept. All right? So very simply, we're going to always close the box. Okay? And you're always going to pick this line right here all the way down. Right? A, B, B. Isn't A1 a mirror of A2? They're exactly the same, just opposite directions, and B1, B2, the same thing. So again, this is half of the rectangle. Therefore, width times length. Okay? And let's go to this one. Right there. Boom. A1, A2, B1, B2. Exactly the same. It doesn't matter what triangle you're going to draw, what type of angles he has. If you close that box, it's always going to be a rectangle. No matter what. No matter what. What's missing is half of it. Therefore, the formula should always be width times length, which is the area of a rectangle, divided by 2, because half is missing. That's why you divide by 2. Okay? So you can either hate me forever for destroying your childhood dreams about the proper formulas, or you can love me forever for simplifying something that you might never use again. All right? Why is this important? Because if you have a trapezoid, an area that's irregular, as a lot of lots out there are, irregular lots, we need to figure out the square footage, the proper square footage. Okay? So, let's go back here. And this is what we have. We have 5, 6, and 8. Those are the dimensions of the trapezoid. We got 3 numbers to figure out the area of 2 parts. The rectangle is easy, okay? Because it's the 5, which we got here, and the 6. Actually, let me do it here, it's easier. Hold on. Sorry. Because I can play with more colors, so it's a lot easier to show. Ah. Come on, work with me. All right, so what I told you guys, when we have 5, 8 for the whole thing, and 6, right? Good so far? Okay. So what I was telling you to do is we're going to cut this into 2 known shapes. So now we have a rectangle, we have a triangle. For the rectangle is easy because this 6 comes down. Just to make it similar to what we've been doing so far. And now the area of the rectangle, it's 5 times 6, which equals, calculators? Just want to make sure because somebody gave me 240 before. So 30 square feet. 30 square feet. Next, what do we have? So we already figured out this out of the way, right? 30 square feet. And that's the triangle. Now we need to figure out, that's the rectangle, I'm sorry. Now we need to figure out the triangle. What do we do? So one thing that's important for you guys to realize, as I was explaining before, is that you always got to close the box. Because we only have one number. And the only one number we have is the 5. Can we calculate the area with just one number? We cannot. We need to figure out the second number in order to get to the area. So we got the height, or the width, which is 5, right? And by closing the box, guys, you realize that if this went all the way to the end, it would have been the same as the bottom. Therefore, if it went all the way to the end, it would have been 8. But does it go all the way to the end? No. It stops at 6. What is missing? 2. Correct. All right? And I'm sorry, I know some of you guys are already like, okay, Bruno, I got this already, right? But some people sometimes have difficulty. That's why I'm going step by step. So we got 2. Now we got 2 numbers. We got the 5 and we got the 2. What did I tell you the formula was for... I made a mistake. The formula was for triangles. What is it? It's the width times the base. No, width times length, or height times base, divided by 2. So what do we have here? We have 5 times 2. And because it's half of a rectangle or half of a square, we divide by 2. What do we got? 5 square feet. Now, we got a problem because they're not asking what's the square footage of the triangle or what's the square footage of the rectangle. What are they asking? What is the total square footage of the area? So if we divided it, that's what we did here when we split it into 2. If we divide it into 2, Now we got to put it all together. So the trapezoid area, right, equals the rectangle square footage, right, plus the triangle square footage. And that is 30 plus 5, 35 square feet. Okay? So what is the total area in this example? 35 square feet. Any questions? And very slow on this one. So, but if you have questions, please do ask. No questions? All right. And guys, with that, we pretty much covered the most important of math. And we still got 6 minutes left. Not bad. So make sure, guys, you practice this, the rest of the questions, practice them. If you have any issues with them, send me a message. Bruno, problem number 8, could you please explain it to me? Problem number 19, explain it to me. Right? Whatever. Okay? Now, tomorrow, let me explain what's going to happen tomorrow for those of you that are still with us. Tomorrow is no book. Okay? No book whatsoever. So you don't have to carry the book with you. No book whatsoever. What I want you to have tomorrow, though, is have a couple pieces of paper, blank paper, a pencil, right? And a plain, simple calculator. Not your phone. You can use your computer, because I want you to feel as if you're taking the actual exam. The difference is, I'm going to be speaking to you guys, right? When you take the actual exam, no. But I want you to be prepared as if. And another thing I want you guys to do is not have any pressure whatsoever. Because tomorrow is just to see where you are and for you to understand how the questions are in the exam. You got it? So it's something, you don't have the questions I'm going to put up, all right? You don't have them, so there's no point in even touching the book, right? But it's a way for you to kind of understand what you have to do, how to move forward, how to break down the questions, figuring out exactly what they're asking, right? And also realizing where your mistakes are, as some of you did today with the math, right, Sebastian? Sorry, I got to pick on you, right? So that's what it is. All right, guys? So with that being said, have a wonderful evening. I'll see you tomorrow at 5:30. Please be on time at 5:30 so we can go over as many questions as we can practicing for Saturday's exam. Thank you, guys. Have a great evening. Brenda, always. All right, guys. Good night.